Hello everybody and welcome back to Lindsey's Little Library. So today I am here with some really exciting new books that are coming out in March. I had to whittle the list down. Like it's gonna be a good new release book in March, right? Right, Skylar? Skylar agrees. First one is by a new author that I have come to really like, and I've only really read one of his books, but it's Alex Finley's new book. It's called What Have We Done? So this one brings together three best friends who grew up together in a group home for parentless teens. And the home was shut down because some kids started to disappear. And when it was shut down, the three of them were split up. Now they're reunited because someone is trying to kill them. So they have to face what they experienced in the past and then try to figure out who and why someone's after them now. I'm in, right? The next one I want to talk about is the London Seance Society by Sarah Penner. This one also comes out March 7th, as well as the Alex Finley one that I just talked about. So this one, excited for. I was actually on some reading sprints the other night. I don't know, I've been on a lot lately just because it's been getting me reading. And one of them, I think Liv was reading it at the time, and the more she was talking about, the more excited I was getting for it. Because I think it's a little darker than we were all thinking it was going to be. And let's just say I like the dark books. So if you recall, Sarah Penner wrote The Lost Apothecary, which was one of the books I absolutely loved. So I'm here for it. Her next go round. So we're in 1873 and we have our main character, what's her name? Ooh, that's a different name. Vaudeline? She is in an abandoned chateau in Paris, and her talent is she conjures spirits through seances of murder victims to help identify who killed them. So Lena comes to Paris to meet with her because she wants to figure out what happened to her sister. And this is definitely a stretch for Lena because she does not believe in this. So at the time that Lena shows up, Vaudeline is beckoned to England to solve a high-profile murder, and Lena goes with her as an understudy. But as the women team up with the powerful men of London's exclusive Seance Society to solve the mystery, they begin to suspect that they are not merely out to solve a crime, but perhaps entangle in one themselves. So, yeah. Like I said, I love The Lost Apothecary and how it was written, so I'm here for more of Sarah Penner's work. The next one I want to talk about comes out March 7th as well. This is called What Happened to Ruthie Ramirez by Claire Jimenez. So this one follows the Ramirez family, and they live on Staten Island, and I want to say it was maybe 7 years ago. Their 13-year-old middle child, Ruthie, disappeared from track practice. She just never made it home. Completely left the family scarred and having a hard time kind of moving on. So then, it's 12 years. It's been 12 years later. The oldest sister, Jessica, sees a woman on TV. It's like the show Catfish. She's on this show and is convinced this is her little sister. Different hairstyle. Yes, obviously looks older, but there's a birthmark on her face that is just one of a kind. It has to be her. So the family decides that they're going to set out. So we have the mother, Dolores, who is still having a hard time with losing her daughter, Jessica, who has a newborn baby, and Nina, which is the youngest, who just got out of college and is kind of facing some challenges herself. So they have this plan. They're going to go to this city and find their little sister. And it sounds like they're going to have to face the past as they're going through this and look to the future, whether or not their little sister is who they think she is, or even if she would come back with them. So all about that one too. Sounds really interesting. And it's a Puerto Rican family. Just kind of, I'm loving it. All right, so the next one I want to talk about is Vera Wong's Unsolicited Advice for Murderers. This comes out March 14th, and Vera Wong sounds like this character that I'm going to fall in love with. In fact, I've already fallen in love with her. So she is a little old lady of a certain age, and she lives by herself above a tea shop that she has owned in the middle of San Francisco's Chinatown. She likes to keep to herself. She doesn't mind being home alone. She doesn't have a lot of friends or social activities to get her out. The one thing she does do is she is obsessed with being quite the detective online when she is kind of snooping on her Gen Z son, basically. So one morning she goes downstairs to the tea shop, and there is a dead body in the middle of the tea shop and holding a flash drive. So she does what she's supposed to do. She calls the police, she reports it, but before they get there, she decides that, you know what, she's quite the detective herself and will probably do a better job than the police. And so she takes the flash drive that the dead body is holding and starts investigating, because what she finds on there, she knows that the killer is going to want back. So she starts kind of setting up her own little sting operation for who's going to come into her tea shop and try to get that back. So this is the same author. I didn't even write down the author. Jesse Satano also wrote Dial A for Aunties, which I've heard fabulous things about. So I'm excited for this one. Vera Wong sounds incredible, honestly. The next one that I want to talk about comes out March 21st, and that is Beyond That the Sea by Laura Spence Ash. I got this from Celadon Books not that long ago. Beyond excited, and I thought I would have it read by now, but I don't. Anyways, this one is a historical fiction, takes place in London in 1940. We have Millie and Reginald, our parents, making an impossible choice, and they decide to send their children, their 11-year-old child, to America, where they hope that she'll stay safe. Scared and angry, she arrives in Boston to meet the Gregorys, who fold her into their world. She adjusts to their lifestyle, grows close to both of their boys, one older and one younger than her, and before long, before she even realizes that life in America feels more natural than when she was living in England. As she comes into herself and relaxes into summers on the coast of Maine, the girl she had been is fading away, and when abruptly the war ends and she's called home to London. Desperate as she is not to leave the Gregorys behind, she dutifully retraces her trip across the Atlantic. As she returns to post-war London, the memory of her American family stays with her, never really letting her go as she tries to move on and continue on a life of her own. So this is really following her navigating life between those two worlds. I love how the author because it looks like we have multiple perspectives and multiple timelines, and so has put at the bottom what year and sometimes what month you're in, and there's even sometimes like a line like this to help you I'm assuming to help you see that timeline and when things are going to happen. I'm kind of obsessed with that, and I hope that becomes a thing. So this one comes out March 21st. Another book that comes out March 21st is Two Wars and a Wedding by Lauren Willig. So this is also historical fiction, but it is not World War I or World War II. I know there's other wars that happened. So we have September 1896. We have Betsy, who just graduated from Smith College. She's an archaeologist, and she travels to Athens to basically get into this male-dominated field of excavation. In the midst of this, she finds an unlikely ally in Charles, one of the few men who takes her seriously. But when a simmering conflict between Greece and Turkey erupts into a war, she throws herself into the conflict as a nurse, not knowing that the decision will change her life forever. So then we have June 1898. A couple years later, Betsy is sworn off nursing. She's not doing it. It was not fun. So she then gets word that her estranged friend Ava is now going to head to Cuba with the Red Cross to patch up the wounded from the Spanish-American War. She's determined to stop her, Betsy is. She doesn't want her friend to have to experience what she had, and the only way she knows how is by joining in her place. So now she's off in Cuba, having to face some of the demons that she faced before. And Betsy follows Teddy Roosevelt's Rough Riders straight into the heart of the fighting, where she is forced to confront her greatest fears to save both old friends and new. Super excited, all set during nation building idealism and upheaval during the Spanish-American War, during the war between Greece and Turkey, all things that I don't think are represented enough in historical fiction books. So I am absolutely here for this one. Two Wars and a Wedding. So excited for that book. All right, the next book I want to talk about is Loyalty by Lisa Scottoline. This one comes out March 28th. Now, Lisa Scottoline, I have enjoyed her books in the past, but I wouldn't say she's one of the authors that I automatically am drawn to, if that makes any sense at all. But this one Sounds so good because she is writing a book about the mob. Yes, please. All right. So we have Franco, who is a handsome lemon grower toiling on the estate of a baron. He dreams of owning his own grove, but the rigid class system of Sicily thwarts his ambition. Determined to secure a bright future, Franco will do anything to prove his loyalty to this baron. But when the baron asks him to kidnap a little boy named Dante, Franco makes a decision that will change his life and even the history of Sicily forever. Hello. So basically, we're in Sicily at the start of kind of when the mafia starts to come together. So yeah, I'm here. I'm here for it. Ooh, I'm so excited. And then the next one coming out March 28th is Community Board by Tara Conklin. So this one I toyed with a little bit because I'm afraid I'm setting myself up for humor in this book when I can't find like sincere evidence that it's going to be humorous, yet the synopsis leads me to believe that it might be humorous. So let me get you there. So we have our main character whose name is Darcy. She is almost 30. She's returned home to Murbridge, Massachusetts because, well, she has nowhere else to go, pretty much. She's going back home. She's licking her wounds. She's not having a great time. And she finds solace in, solace and entertainment, really, in the community message boards of her city. And so she might, interact a bit. So some of the examples of the message boards that she's reading. So one of them says free, 500 cans of corn, accidentally ordered them online. I really hate corn, happy to help unload. And then reminder, use your own goddamn garbage can for your own goddamn pet waste. I'm looking at you, Peter. So, which makes me laugh, right? So here we are. Darcy is back home. She's thinking it's unchanged. But like all things adapt. So while her first instinct, again, is to hold up in her childhood bedroom, sustaining on Chef Boyardee and canned chickpeas, she seeks out human connection with these daily posts on this community board. And in doing so is really faced with that question of where does she belong? Where is her community? And what does she owe in return? So again, it's a vague synopsis because I think it's just really Darcy finding herself. Yet I'm hoping there's some humor in here and maybe what she does on this community board. I don't know. I'm torn. So if anybody out there knows more about this book, fill me in, please. And then the last one we have is Lone Woman by Victor Lavelle, again coming out March 28th. So we have historical fiction, but I feel like it has a little bit of mystery thriller-ish. So we have 1915. We have Adelaide. She carries this huge steamer trunk with her everywhere she goes, no matter where she is or what she's doing. And no one knows what's in it. It's always locked because when it gets opened, people around her start to disappear. What's in this trunk? So she's now found herself in trouble. Her secret sin killed her parents and is forcing her to flee to California and go to California in a hellfire rush and make her way to Montana as a homesteader. So she's dragging this trunk with her every step of the way. She will become one of the lone women taking advantage of the government's offer for free land for those who can come and tame it. Except she's not alone. So the secret she's trying so desperately to lock away might be the only thing that will help her survive this harsh territory. It does say there's a bit of magical suspense, so be prepared to go into that one. But it sounds like it's full of adventure, yet horror within this new land, early 20th century America. I'm kind of here for it. And I want to know what's in the trunk. So that's the other one coming out in March. So there's a chunk of books that I'm excited for coming in March that I will keep my eye open for. I have a few of them that I've requested on NetGalley. Not sure if I'm going to get them, but you never know. Otherwise, leave a comment below. Let me know if there's any books you're excited for that are coming out this next month. Otherwise, like, comment, subscribe, and all that fun stuff. And I will see you next time. Bye. Oh, totally forgot this was on.